Hello everyone, thanks for coming to my second lesson on international populations. Today we're going to be making tabouli. It's a vegan and vegetarian recipe from Lebanon and Syria, I believe. So it's really fun to make, it's easy, it's healthy, and you can put it as a main dish or you can make it a side dish to almost anything that you're serving. So I'm going to pivot my camera down here. There's only a few ingredients that we need. We need 4 to 5 Roma tomatoes. We need about 14 to 15 mint leaves. Now I've bought some already dried and chopped mint leaves, but we're going to chop those up a little bit more. We need some bulgur wheat. We need 4 to 5 green onions, 1 whole cucumber, some olive oil and lemon juice, salt, and you can't forget the parsley. So we're going to start getting to cook in a few minutes. I'm going to give a brief hand washing demonstration and also a brief knife cutting demonstration. So bear with me with that, and then we should get our recipe on the way soon. Thank you. Okay everyone, we're now at the sink. So I'm going to turn on the hot water here, let it warm up a bit, and we're going to wet our hands first and then get a little bit of a hand soap. Now we can start to lather up a little bit. We want to scrub our hands for 20 to 30 seconds, okay? Make sure it's nice hot water and you're getting suds everywhere. Get between the fingers. You want to get the backs of your hands like this, your palms. You can scrub around under your fingernails because you want to have your hands as clean as possible when you're preparing the food, and you never know where some bacteria may hide. So I'm not sure on the time yet, about 25 or so seconds. You can time yourself by singing happy birthday twice. I think we're good by now, so I'm just going to rinse my hands off. And then I'm going to be sure not to touch anything after I've rinsed my hands. So these are good and clear. I'm going to turn it off with my elbow there and shake them dry. Find a paper towel in a second, and we'll get back to cooking. Thank you. Hey everyone. So before we start, the bulgur wheat actually needs to soak. So you can see it's very fine here. I went out to Neiman and bought this. It's about the only place you can get it in Raleigh, but there's, I'm sure, a lot of other markets from the Middle East who sell it. So I got extra fine bulgur wheat, and we're going to dump it in this water and let it soak for about 10 minutes. If you don't get extra fine bulgur wheat, you should probably use hot water, and you should soak it for about 35 to 40 minutes. With the extra fine bulgur wheat, we're going to use normal room temperature water and soak it for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to dump it in here, stir it around a little bit so we can start to soak up some water, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. Hey everyone, so we're back. I've let my bulgur wheat sit for about 25 minutes, so it's starting to look pretty firm and much bigger than the original fine cut. Now, I know the recipe calls for 10 minutes, but it's probably best to just leave it in there longer just to be safe. Now, we are going to start with a cutting demonstration with our tomatoes here. You want to maintain a pinch and claw grasp when cutting food. So pinch the blade with your 2 forefingers, your thumb and your pointer, and then wrap the rest of your hand around the blade, and on the food you're trying to cut, use your hand as kind of like a claw. You want to keep your fingertips in and push the food to the knife as you go. So claw, pinch. Now the food in tabouli we're going to cut very fine, so I might cut that out, but to start with we're going to cut the tomatoes. Okay, so you can see once you have a lot of the tomato cut, you're going to start making a horizontal cut along the flat surface of the tomato, and then you can bundle those up and you can cut lengthwise to dice the tomato. Okay, so we're going to do that for the rest of the tomato, and then I'll be right back. So you can see here I've finally chopped the tomatoes up. We've diced them, and they're looking pretty good. They're very thinly diced, and tabouli, what I've found is everything is very thinly diced, so the more work you put into cutting, the more finer it will be, and the better the ingredients will mesh together. So now we're going to do the same thing with all the other ingredients, the green onions, the parsley, and what else do we have there? The mint leaves. So let me get right back to it. I'll grab those in a second. All right, we're back. So now we have the cucumber and the green onions here. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the tomatoes, and we're going to chop both up very finely. Now, let me move my cucumber. It's important to know that we have washed all these vegetables before cutting them, and we've also maintained clean hand washing practices. So the green onions, I'm just going to cut the ends off here. All the onions. And on the other side. Okay, now the sort of meat of the green onion we're going to finely chop as well. So I'll cut all that, and we're going to do the same with the cucumber here. Now the cucumber you can slice lengthwise so that you have a flat surface to cut, and then thus safer, more efficient, and easier to cut. So, happy chopping practices to you all. Alright, 1 second here. Alright, so I've chopped up my vegetables. I'm still going to chop them a little more in a bit to make them more fine, but we've got everything sort of coarse right now, and we're going to just finely chop it when we get a little more space in a second. Now, I have my mint leaves. These are already sort of finely chopped, and they're dried and destemmed. And I have my parsley here. Now, this calls for about 14 to 15 mint leaves and 2 bunches of parsley. I also have a food processor. So, with our mint leaves here, I don't know what 14 or 15 is, but this is already dried. And I'm probably going to add about maybe a handful. We don't want to make it too strong, so we'll play on the safe side for this recipe. Now the parsley, this is about 2 bunches. We don't want all the main stem stuff, so we're going to just pull off the leaves of most of it. You can leave some of the stems since this is going in the food processor. And the stems add some nutrients and some extra flavor, but the bulk of them we're just going to pull off. Okay. So that looks pretty good so far. We're going to mix that up in the food processor, and I'll save you the noise, so I'll cut right back in a second. Alright everyone, we're back. We've mixed up all the ingredients very finely. I used my food processor for some of it. Don't tell anyone, that's a secret. Now we're going to add our bulgur wheat in. Whoop. All of it in there. Okay. Now we're going to add 3 to 4 tablespoons of lemon juice and also olive oil. So I have the tablespoon here. 3 to 4. 1.5. 2. 3. Okay. There are general measurements here from my family recipe. Got a new bottle here. And 1, 2, about 3. Okay. So now we're just going to mix gently, mix everything in. And it's starting to come together. The bulgur wheat will probably absorb some of this juice we have at the bottom here. So we're going to mix it all in and refrigerate for about 30 minutes. And then we'll come back. It should be pretty good. It's looking really good now. Mix everything in. And we are about to have some tabouli. Very exciting. So, join me in 30 minutes. We should have a finished dish and we'll try it out. Thank you. So our tabouli is finally finished cooling, and we're just going to taste test it real quick. It's really good. Wow. A lot of vegetables, a lot of nutrients, a lot of flavor. Wow. An easy recipe to make, a fun recipe to make. It's vegan. It's this is one serving. My recipe probably made around 5 to 6 servings, so it should make a lot. And it's a good recipe. So try it out yourselves. Let me know how it works. And thanks for coming to watch. See ya.